Hey folks, Roger Gonzalez here, formerly, because it's a big announcement time, formerly from LocalTheatreNY.tv. We are proud and happy to say that in this first interview with Allison Hohman, we are Local Theater USA. And Allison, I'm so excited to have you as our first guest. You have a lot of good things to share with us today, so I'm just going to cut right to the chase. Give us a little introduction of who you are and what you're currently doing, and then I'm going to tell everybody how we met.
Awesome. I'm Allison Hohman. I am the founder of Rogue Theater Festival, along with being a freelance stage manager, lighting designer, director, producer, whatever you need. I'm here to talk with Roger about Rogue Theater Festival and how we kind of made this transition from our standard in-person theater festival to this new virtual thing that we're all trying to do.
This virtual thing. I love it. You know, yeah. For those of you who don't know or who might care, I met Allison at the 13th Street Rep. She was doing lighting. She was doing sound. I was like, who is this person who knows so much about theater? I mean, really, you really have a very, wide range of skills when it comes to theater. And then you said this crazy thing, or maybe Joe Batista said it or something. Oh, she's starting her own festival. And I thought, there's so many festivals. What's going to make her different? So let's start there. What makes the Rogue Theater Festival different? I know the answer, but why don't you share?
Sure. I decided to start a festival because I have done a lot of festivals as a stage manager, and I kind of saw what I liked, what I didn't like. And I wanted something that was more mom and pop style, something that kind of let smaller shows participate in like the huge New York City theater scene. So when I started the festival, I wanted to get these smaller pieces, they're 10 minutes to an hour max, a chance to kind of present their work in a professional setting, but in a casual and chill setting.
I love that, casual and chill. I remember walking by the 13th Street Rep the first year you did it, and there were all these people. And I thought, I've never seen that many people in the lobby of the 13th Street Rep. I mean, we've seen full shows, but there were people outside, people inside. A wonderful thing, 2 years ago, this is your third, right?
This is actually the second year. So last year was the first. So that line you saw, those people you saw, they were supporting our first year.
Look
Incredible.
At that. I thought it was the third because it feels like it's been around for a while. And here you go this and you do this wonderful, I hear wonderful things about the shows and wonderful things about the people involved. And then you got it going, right? Here it is. You had a nice turnout. And then COVID happened, the pandemic, and theaters have been shut down. They continue to be shut down. And the other day you reach out, a few weeks ago, you reach out and you're like, yeah, we're doing our next festival. I was like, so tell us about that transition from filling, the 13th Street Rep to what you're doing this year.
Yeah, I mean, last year, like you said, was an incredible turnout. I didn't know what to expect. It was my first time producing such a big project, and a theater festival is a big project, whether it's 5 shows or 30 shows. Last year we had 25 shows. So that was its own experience. And that was the plan again this year, to do the same kind of thing, week-long standard theater festival. But pandemic hit, and we still tried to remain hopeful that we could do an in-person festival. We, in spring, when it really hit, it really got bad. We told our participants, hey, we're still going to try to do this in-person festival, but we're going to postpone. We're going to do it in the fall. Things will be better by then. Once we got to August, we kind of said, maybe not. And even if we can, and we are allowed to do this in-person thing, maybe it's not the safest thing to do. So I kind of just sat with my thoughts for about a week and decided that I didn't want to give up on it. I wanted to do the festival again. And the way to do that was to go virtual.
I love that. And you're right. I mean, you kind of flow with the punches, right? You go with the punches and see what new things are available, because let's face it, and I'm sure you have this discussion with a lot of your participants and the playwrights and the producers, you got to keep going.
Yeah.
No, you got to keep developing your work. You have to figure out what we can do at this moment until we get back to, something that's safe for live performances. And you folks have figured that out. So, you hear a lot about Zoom. We're just talking about Zoom, right? But tell us some of the ways that your 14 plays, right?
14 plays,
Right,
yeah.
which is still quite a lot. Tell us how some of those plays are continuing to develop, are continuing to present, and are continuing to brand the work and the playwright and draw audiences in, because I think we need theater more than ever today. So tell us how you're doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. With, the decision to, produce this or not, the answer came because I had the participants and playwrights reaching out to me saying, we really want to do this. How can we do this? We are so eager to do this. So I felt like I had to. And so what we decided was to kind of mesh it all together into this crazy hybrid thing. So, we're used to doing the traditional theater festival. It's, a weekend, we do all the shows back to back, and it's crazy, but it's awesome. Couldn't do that this year. So I thought, how can we, combine everything? I know we have Zoom. Zoom is incredible. It's really kind of saved us in this time. But I think we're all pretty zoomed out. So I wondered, can we do something, let's include Zoom, but what else can we do? So what I decided was to just kind of let the participants decide what would be best for them. Did they feel safest staying at home, staying remote, filming something on Zoom with their participants? Great, I want it. Did they feel comfortable doing something on a location, whether that's in a park, on a rooftop, in someone's apartment? If they felt safe doing that, great, I want it. And for anyone else who felt, safe, comfortable enough, I wanted to offer the traditional theatrical experience of coming to the theater, putting their work on the stage. The only difference was there was no audience. So we had, I think, 9 groups of the 14, which is a pretty large amount, come to the 13th Street Rep, film with us in the space, safely, socially distant. And it was very spread out. We had, I think, 4 filming days in total, 2 in October, 2 in November, just so we could make sure that we were doing everything to maintain the safety. We cleaned a lot, went through so many Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer, the masks, all of it, just to make sure that we felt safe, our participants felt safe, and theater could still happen.
Yeah, theater will happen, and I love that you did that. Kudos to the Joe Batista and the 13th Street Rep. Can't move forward with this conversation without throwing them a nice word or two. And that's that's forward thinking. That's the ability to put whatever we can together and make it happen. What kind of reaction are you getting from the participants when they come into the theater, when they have to set up, some sort of video or taping format, when they're performing with no audiences, when they're producing this way? What are you getting back from them?
Yeah, when I first started kind of communicating with the people about it, there was a lot of kind of confusion, rightly so, about how it was going to work. This is a brand new thing that we're doing. So it took a lot of communicating with each playwright individually to make sure that they understood what was going to happen. They understood the safety procedures we were going to implement and how they could implement their own in any type of rehearsals that they were doing. And that they understood that we were going to take care of them, that they were going to come into the space. It was going to be the same. We were going to have the lighting design for them. We were going to have the sound design for them. We had a videographer for everyone who came in who filmed every piece. We did all the editing. All they had to focus on, which is, I think, how it should be, was their piece, their play, their rehearsals, making sure that their piece was what they wanted it to be. And in that way, it was kind of the same. They came in and we took care of them. It just was a little extra this time. But it was really interesting and lovely to see when people came into the space, how grateful they were just to be in a theater.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we filmed October and November. At that point, none of us had been in a theater since March. That's a long time for most of us.
Yeah, that is a long time. And you said, when you use the word extra, it made me think of something we have to discuss, and that is that we have the impression that because we can Zoom and we can video, that somehow it's easier. But you've had quite a few challenges. It's harder, there's extra work, and so have your participants. Tell us a little bit about that and their reaction to that.
Yeah, it's such a common misconception, I think. And I believed it myself. I said, okay, we're going to go virtual. How easy is that going to be? Even though I did want to do Zoom, on location, all of those options, I said, this is going to be way less stress than the intense week that we usually have. Instead, I learned that there are just a lot more requirements to make the online thing happen, and more than just happen, to make it good, to make it a quality theatrical experience, even though we're watching a screen. So figuring that out took a lot of time, and making sure to communicate to the playwrights ways that they could enhance their piece on this kind of, digital platform took a lot of work, took a lot of communication, but we were all learning. We were all finding ways to still make theater happen in this new way. And it's been challenging. It's been time consuming, but I mean, it's been a great education.
Now, that leads to the next question, which is, so next year, God willing, the vaccine is out, and hopefully the numbers go down and theater begins to open. Now, we don't know if it's going to be exactly next year in time for your festival, if it's going to be the year after that. But sort of a crystal ball question. Moving forward, do you think you'll include this virtual aspect of theater production and festival production in your live mix, or do you want to go back to just live?
I mean, the easy answer is to be like, oh, I want to go back to live, but because I miss it so much, like we all do. But similar to you branching out to Local Theater USA, I think Rogue and any theater festival that wants to can branch out in such an enormous way by implementing these new virtual things that we've all had to learn how to do. Let's keep them. Let's continue to merge the worlds together instead of just reverting back to what we were used to. Let's move forward, and we have the tools to do that now. So I'm hoping, next year we can be in a space together. We can have an audience that applauds at the end of the show instead of just silence. But I'm also hoping that, we can merge those worlds and have a virtual presentation of each piece along with the traditional lovely way that we enjoy of the audience in the space.
I think a lot of people now see that there's more options and, raising 10, 15, 20 more $1,000, finding a venue, that rush of trying to plug in your show when another one has ended, and that poses its own challenges. But I think now, given this, if you look at the silver lining, playwrights begin to realize that there's other ways to get their work out there and build an audience. And that brings me to building an audience, because I know it's a little bit different to try to get someone to sit in front of a screen and watch a completely, foreign, by foreign I mean unheard of production or play, because all the plays are fairly new, right? And get to do it on a time frame that you determine through the festival. So tell us a little bit about building your audience. Tell us about the weekend that the festival is playing, initially, and then tell us about afterwards, because you give people the ability to come back and see your show at another time, right?
Right. Well, that's one of the incredible things about being able to go virtual like this is the platform that I have chosen to use, Showtix for You, offers so many different options. At first, I was just going to do the scheduled content option, which is, we have our show at 7 p.m. If you make it, great. If you can't, and that was very similar to, the regular in-person festival. But they also have the video on demand option, which I think is incredible because it allows people to just check in whenever they want for the week after the festival to watch whatever shows they want, all of them, just one. And I think that opens up who can see it, who has access to it. I mean, it's incredible when you think about that. Before, when you're doing your regular standard theater, the only people who have access to this are people who live in New York City, who are free at 7 p.m. on Thursday.
Right.
But instead, now we have the option to share it with anyone and everyone. And I mean, I'm a transplant to New York City. I'm excited that my family gets to watch these shows. I'm so excited about that.
That's true. That's very true. And you know, that was kind of the same idea I had with, you know, switching over to Local Theater USA, is that there's theater everywhere, but because of the limitations of not being able to go out there in live, you know, if I'm doing work here in live theater in New York, I stuck with New York. But now I see this opportunity to have someone see a show or a festival such as yours anywhere in the world.
Right.
And particularly good would be all those people who maybe want to be in your festival next year. They can actually, they don't have to come to New York and see your festival.
Right.
They can join you this weekend and see the festival. And I think that's a phenomenal thing. You know, I just see you growing in terms of your skill set, like every day. I mean, you know, oh, Joe said Allison's a lighting person. Then I found out you did stage managing, all this other stuff, producing. And what do you see, again, another crystal ball, what do you see the future of theater in New York look like for the next, let's say, 2 to 5 years, based on everything that you're experiencing?
Yeah, I mean, I do think that having the multiple skill sets, it's always been something I've wanted to develop within myself. And thank you for that compliment. And I feel like that's going to be something that's maybe more important now as we move forward. I do think people are going to have to kind of produce their own work when maybe they were used to just being able to direct it or act in it. Yeah, and I think that's great. I think let's take this time to learn new skills and apply them in ways that we can continue to make theater. I wouldn't have been able to do Rogue if I didn't know how to, or teach myself how to do these things.
Yes.
We do the sound design and lighting design, and we do all these things for the festival because we don't want them to focus on that. We want them to focus on their play. So by me and my team having those skills, that allows them to just come in and do their thing. But I feel like with New York City Theater, we're all going to just have to make it work for the next few years. We might have to just kind of take a step back, simplify things, learn some new skills and figure it out. But I mean, that's the spirit of theater.
You know, I thank you for those words because they're very inspiring and they're very positive, which is what we need to hear. Any shows, any surprises, anything you want to share with us before we say break a leg and we'll see you this weekend?
I'm so excited for this year. All the shows are so different and touching in their own way. Last year we did about 25 shows. This year we're at 14. It's been really nice to have a smaller, even smaller festival to focus so intensely on each show. And I feel like I've gotten to know these playwrights. I feel like, you know, some of them are my buddies now. Yeah. And it's just so wonderful to have been a part of this journey with them because we have been communicating since January about what we're going to do and how the festival is going to work and how their piece is going to be presented. So, I mean, it's been a gift. It's been a blessing. It's hard, but it's been incredible to just kind of, you know, take a step back and really focus on all of these pieces and these people.
Yeah, change is hard, and 2020 has been a difficult year, but there have been many good things that have come out of it, and I see you're making the best of what you have to work with, which is a phenomenal, you know, skill set or a phenomenal, you know, attitude to take towards your art. I want to congratulate you again. I want to wish you a hugely successful Rogue Theater Festival in New York, expanded to the whole world as many people as can see it. And you know, where can people find more information about the Rogue Theater Festival, tickets, that sort of thing, and tickets afterwards?
Yeah, totally. So we're on Facebook, Rogue Theater Festival. We have the website, Rogue Theater Festival. We're using this amazing platform to present. It's called showticksforyou.com. If you're looking for tickets to Rogue, that website is showticksforyou.com/events/Rogue Theater Festival. All 14 scheduled content shows are there, along with those video on demand that I mentioned that run the whole week after the festival. Just in case you can't make that 7 p.m. Thursday show, you can watch it the following week.
Well, congratulations. I will make sure to put all that information here on the video so that folks can see it easily. I look forward to this festival. Allison, I just can't say how exciting this is to see theater coming back in some form or another, and I thank you for that. You have a wonderful week and a great opening.
Thanks, Roger. Thank you so much.